This video is going to be deleted within 14 days. So if you're one of the lucky ones who actually get to watch this message before it gets completely removed, then I want just to take 2 minutes out of your day. I'm not going to waste any more than 2 minutes out of your day. And I'm going to give you the main message of this video within that time. If you don't get that message, click away after those 2 minutes. So I used to do trading the complete wrong way, but I then got this realization where it was this one day where I took 2 trading positions, and for one of them I just closed it quickly. I didn't let it hit full TP because I just didn't like the way the market moved, and I just closed the position quickly. I made 1%. And then later that day, I took another position. The same thing happened again. I just closed it. I just didn't like how price was moving, so I just closed the trade. And I felt like a failure both of those times. But then I looked back at the day and I realized, hey, I actually made 2% today. In just one day, not even 1 week. But I still felt like a failure because the trades didn't hit TP, right? So I didn't feel like I was smart. I didn't feel like a genius in the market because I wasn't able to predict where the market was actually going because it went to my stop loss. Obviously, I closed in profit before that happened, but then I'm considered a failure. Society would say or tell me that I'm a failure. If I would be doing a test in school, that's failure. But I actually made profits that day, and for the rest of that day I saw so many opportunities in the market, and some of them would have worked out, honestly, but I just refused to take those positions as well because I told myself I made 2% today. I don't need to make more today. That's good enough because I don't need to be greedy. And the thing is, I actually felt better not taking those other positions, even though they went to full TP. I realized that those days where I take those positions and they work out, I actually feel really bad because I did something that I wasn't supposed to do. And I basically then tell myself that I don't trust myself, honestly. But that particular day, I didn't take those other setups, and I just felt so good. I just felt so good about myself. I felt so proud of myself, and I started seeing the market in a new lens because when you remove those goggles of fear and greed, and you're not in that constant fight or flight mode, you just see the market from a completely different lens, and you're like, why, how couldn't I see this before? Why didn't I approach trading this way before? And trading was basically never the same afterwards because I never chased the market anymore. So that's my message for those of you who wanted me to just only take up 2 minutes out of your day. If you're still curious about going deeper into this topic and steps I actually do in my life in order to be a really, I wouldn't use the word profitable, but I'm that as well, but I like to use the word consistent and not flinching when things happen in the market, then stick around, because let me tell you a story about myself. Just, I would say 1 year ago. Let's say 1.5 years ago. Let's say that. I used to live a completely different life than I do today. I used to go to the gym probably 5 to 6 times a week, lifting weights, doing a lot of workout. And I consider myself a disciplined, hardworking, ambitious individual. And I thought that by me, when I was a student or when I was doing like going to the gym, that type of stuff, I thought that I worked really hard at those particular things because, or even learning trading, I thought that I was working really hard, and that means that I'm really ambitious, I'm really driven, and like I'm not lazy, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Me and a lot of other people in society, we try to use those things, those areas, in order to like avoid facing reality, I would say. And we don't realize that we do so, but that's actually a lot of what this comes down to, because by working really hard on something, a project, whatever it is, you just escape kind of the boredom, your own thoughts, reality, everything. And you don't realize that that's what's happening, because I always used to work really hard at something, and then I used to self-sabotage when I was close to hitting the goal, and I was just spinning my wheels and not really achieving anything or going anywhere. Now, to this day, I completely switched up everything I do in my life. I switched up working hard with actually going deeper into tasks and deep diving into things. When I was studying, when I was going to the gym, I always felt like I needed to do as much as possible, be as productive as possible. But now I rather try to do things more in depth and go into details about things. And I don't think about it like I have to do this much in this short amount of time. And when I go to the gym, I actually switched up from doing strength workout to more of kind of martial arts, where it's more about, I would say, it feels more like a meditation than working out. I would say it's still exhausting, but it's more like a meditative state of mind, where I realize that everything I do to this point has to be something that makes my trading better, not worse. And when I was really aggressive, going to the gym, pushing weights, nothing wrong with that, but it just didn't improve my trading mindset. But by focusing on other stuff, reading more as well. I was never reading before, or actually listened to audiobooks, but that's not the same thing, because it's not just about the information, it's about how you reprogram your brain to process information. And all I'm doing from when I wake up to when I'm going to bed is activities that will improve my trading in one way or another. And that's what's making me so consistent to this point. That's why I didn't need to take those other trades. That's why I could close the position early without feeling like I needed to be a genius in the market. I don't need to post a 5-hour trade. I can just take that small position and remove myself from the market and move on with my day. I realized that it's not about sprinting, but it's about, no matter what happens, if it's a wall in front of you, if whatever is in front of you, you walk in a steady pace and you just go through everything. You don't want to be the guy in the market who's just sprinting and then that wall comes up or something and then he completely loses it. You want to be consistent. You don't want to go through these highs and lows. The market makes highs and lows. Our job is to be consistent and not make those highs and lows ourselves. So you would rather be that guy who's walking a consistent pace, but no matter what's in front of you, that pace never changes. You just go straight through that wall with the same pace. No matter what's in front of you, you just continue in that same pace. And that's the same with the market as well. That's why we don't blow accounts. Me and my students in my Discord, we don't blow accounts. we are consistent, and especially in bad market conditions, that's when the difference is created. That's what separates the really good traders who can just do this again and again and again. Because that day was actually when I realized that I closed 2 trades and I just made 1%, and I felt like that was nothing there and then. But looking back, I realized that that's $2,000 on a 100K account in one day. If you can just consistently repeat that over and over again, do you realize how much that is over the long run? Instead of being, oh, I need to hit full TP here, even though the market is showing me clear signs that it doesn't want to go to full TP. That's the difference, guys. So if you've watched this full video, and if this is something that you found interesting, please stick around. I'll make more of these type of videos, and I really wish you guys good luck. But you have to realize that trading isn't just about the technicals. It's about whatever weakness you have in your life. If you don't deal with that weakness, that difficult part of your life, you're never becoming profitable. You need to face that weakness, and it has oftentimes nothing to do directly correlated with trading, but it's going to show up in the markets. I don't know how to explain this to you guys, but you have to make so many decisions in the market every single day, and whatever issues you have will make your subconscious mind is 97% of like what's happening in your brain. And if your subconscious mind, like, you may not realize that it's happening, but your subconscious mind controls everything. And if there's something in your life that you haven't figured out or dealt with properly, your subconscious mind and the way you view the market in general is going to be out of that state, and you're not able to make sound, logical, rational decisions. But that's the good thing about trading, that you have to improve your life as well, because it's not just about the profits, the payouts. It's about the person you're becoming. And that's difficult to imagine, but it will be more valuable than the money you're making.